HHSolid Beats.
This is a Celo Beats production.
Hello dear viewers, you're watching Nino's product reviews and my name is Nino. Today we're going to take a look at the Gatekeeper 1.0 and 2.0 versions. Now the Gatekeeper is a device which automatically will lock your computer if you go away from it. It's a device which is basically designed to offer additional security but also make your life easier. Now I have the newer version, the 2.0, and the first model here, and I'm gonna start with the unboxing of the first model. As you can see, the device itself is fairly small. It comes with a short manual. You're not gonna really need too much of that because it's really simple. This is the actual device. As I've mentioned already, it's kind of tiny. It doesn't feel heavy at all. It's the golden version here, and it makes for a pretty decent keychain. I like the way it looks and I like the way it feels. Although it is made out of plastic, it feels as if it was almost made out of metal, especially because of the appearance, really. This is the part that you're going to be plugging into your PC. It's the one that is going to be connecting with your Gatekeeper keychain, and it's going to judge the distance between basically forcing the PC to lock and unlock. We have a keychain attachment here, which is pretty sweet. It's making the whole thing easy for us. And of course, in the background you can probably see it, we have also two batteries. Gatekeeper's giving us an additional battery for when the first one should run out of juice. You will only need one to run it at a time, so that's a pretty cool extra that you get. Considering that this is a fairly cheap device, I can definitely say that that's a nice addition to it. Now this is how you open it. It's quite simple. You just snap it out and you plug in the battery and then you just snap it back in. Kind of like Samsung phones where the back cover is just, you know, pulled out and pulled in. There's no sliding mechanism or anything. And that's pretty much the Model 1. Now let's move to the Model 2. This is the newer alteration of the Gatekeeper. It has some cosmetic changes, but also a few added extras. I'm gonna talk about them in a moment. Now first, as we open it, we see that the packaging itself is quite different. It's a bit more elaborate, a bit more interesting, and here the first thing that greets us is the little dongle. And as you will notice, the dongle is not quite as long as the previous one, but for that it's grown fatter. So whether or not that's a great thing is something that you have to decide. It's always better if not too much of it sticks out of your PC. So I'm more on the side of the fat but short rather than long and thin. So yeah, that kind of sounds wrong, but I think you guys get my gist. In any case, we get also a keychain, this time one that you can wear around your neck with a Gatekeeper logo. It's a nice touch, why the hell not? But what you did notice probably is that we don't see two batteries here. So we will find that we have one battery in here. The other one is no longer to be found. That's a bit sad because it's always cool to get one as a reserve. But these batteries are quite cheap and easy to get, so this is not going to be something that will shorten your life or that will make everything difficult for you. The Gatekeeper takes very little electricity and can run very long time on a single battery. This is also how we're going to be connecting it to our keychain, unless we have something else. Is there anything under it? No, so we're gonna remove the actual device and take a look at it. Now the device design has changed very slightly, but I personally like it. First of all, as you can see, we have this matte finish here. It is almost feeling rubbery, stands a bit more solid in the hand. The part that goes on your keychain has been extracted outside of the main body and appears to be on the side. This also makes it stand a bit better on your key, next to your keys, and improves the design. Also, we have a tiny LED diode over there and a button. Now, unfortunately, this is very new, and I've received it quite early. The firmware has not been yet adjusted, so my personal device does not yet glow and the button does not yet work. But what is going to happen is the button will allow you to basically turn it on and off, which is great. You can save some battery. You don't need to walk around with it working in your pocket if you're not using your PC. And also the LED light is going to glow different ways to show you what's happening. Now, as you've seen, I've compared both. They seem quite the same in terms of size, but as I've said, personally I find the 2.0 more attractive, more slick and more elegant in general. So they've made a few good changes with it. Price wise, the difference is minimal, so if you prefer this look, I would advise you to go with a 2.0 version. It's just much nicer. Now let's move on and see how we can actually use this device. So after you've installed the software, everything's set up within seconds, and you just gotta walk out of the range of the device. Now for the purposes of this review, I'm just gonna remove the battery. This actually makes the whole thing react a bit slower, as you can see, but it will still work. If you don't remove the battery, it will not be so sudden and the device will recognize it much easier. Then I'll reinsert the battery, and again, it's going to take a few seconds for it to start using the battery and streaming its field, which will then cause the dongle to recognize that it's near and log you back in. If you're not doing this by removing the battery, everything's gonna go much faster. But for the purposes of this review, I found it quite impractical to have to walk around the house now, just so I can demonstrate this. In both cases, you can see that it works. It's just a bit slower, just keep that in mind. So naturally, you can use this also just by starting up your PC. It will just circumvent the whole procedure with you having to log in using a password. As long as it's near it, it's going to log you in automatically. Of course, you can still use the password, so if something were to happen, you can log in manually, but this just gives you a certain level of comfort additionally to the security features. Both Gatekeeper devices come with the added Bluetooth functionality. You can install an application called Gatekeeper on your phone, and in case you lose your device somehow, you can always find it using this as long as it's within the Bluetooth range. You can activate it to scream like crazy, and at the same time you're going to be able to see how close you are to the actual device. I'm going to remove it, and we'll see that it's going to show me now that I'm a bit further because I threw it back. So in both cases, you can use this application to find your device, and you can also set an alert which will alert you as soon as the device moves out of your location, or you do. That means that if the alert is on, I don't need to locate it manually, but the phone is going to start screaming if I go and forget my device somewhere. Now, while the Gatekeeper is very useful and convenient in the private sector, the enterprise application is what makes it excel in the business world. You can manage all gatekeepers on a network. You have a central administration console, two-factor authentication, multi-user mode, event logs, and I can see a lot more coming up in the future. Now, picture this situation. I personally work in a company as well, and I know from experience that sometimes you're on your PC and you're always supposed to log out when you get off of it because there's sensitive data on it. But you want to go grab a coffee, you just need to go quickly to the toilet, you get a personal phone call and you want to sneak out and take that, you forget it. And this is not supposed to happen. As long as you have the Gatekeeper, it will not happen, because you can forget, but the Gatekeeper will always remember to log you out. And that is why this thing is very useful. Even if your company does not specifically need it, I would advise you try to get one and work with it. I've personally tested it and I find it super convenient. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if that was the case, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you want to support my YouTube channel further, you may click on the Patreon side on top, or you can also use the Amazon link that I've provided in the description to buy something within 5 minutes after clicking on that link. It really helps me, guys, and I'd be really grateful if you did so. In any case, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you on the next video.